This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts.
You're plugged in for the Podcast Wrestling Society, where you can get dynamic weekly pro wrestling and MMA-related content. Give us a follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at POTUS Society, so that you can stay in the know.
Faith is the place. The sky's the limit.
And if you like what you hear, give us a 5-star review and hit that subscribe button.
Woo! 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 Woo!
Now, your host, he is the one and only Troy Adams.
Hello and welcome everyone to the first Wrestling Wednesday of the new year and the new decade. It is Wrestling Wednesday here on the Podcast Wrestling Society. I am your loving leader, benevolent host, and Midwest monster, Troy Adams. And everyone knows I am the true one and only golden star of wrestling podcasts. And today, because of the new year and because of the holiday season and everything, I wasn't able to secure a guest host again, so I'm not giving you a full, real long, show in long form like I usually do. So what I'm going to do is kind of give you a quick, abbreviated, open the year episode where I just kind of go with some headlines and some opinions I wanted to give you, because next week I will have a guest host on for sure, and we are going to be covering all things Wrestle Kingdom 14 that is coming up this weekend. So I just kind of wanted to give a preview for Wrestle Kingdom 14, New Japan Pro Wrestling, as well as some headlines. We don't cover a whole lot of current product on the show. We talk about it, but in long form we usually do reviews of retro shows from the WWE Network. So for everybody out there who is new to the podcast, first of all, thank you. Welcome. Welcome to the year 2020. And I hope you had a fantastic New Year's Eve. I hope you're having a fantastic New Year's Day. And I hope you are enjoying or are going to enjoy what you hear here on the Podcast Wrestling Society, and you become a new subscriber heading into all things new in 2020. Some of the news and notes I just wanted to touch base on as we're getting into everything. NXT and NXT UK will both air on BT Sport in the UK and in Ireland starting this year. It went into effect today. The first show on BT will be this week's taped episode of NXT, which begins at 1 a.m. local time on January 2nd for those in the UK and Ireland. So, they officially have their own shows on, I guess that's cable over in the UK. I don't exactly know how it works. I know BT Sport is a big deal over there, but I'm not exactly sure how their cable and satellite and basic TV and all that stuff works across the pond. So, it sounds like this is big news. Like I said, BT Sport is a big get. So that's that. Becky Lynch and Asuka are officially set to face off at the Royal Rumble for the second straight year. I said this last week on the podcast for the year-end wrap-up. I apologize, by the way, for the abysmal sound quality last week. It sounded like I had my microphone wrapped in a tin can and I was yelling into it from across the room. I really apologized for that. Obviously, I figured out an alternative way to record this week, so I'm hoping the sound quality is a million times better, but you guys can let me know by shooting me either a message on Skype or Facebook or Instagram. It's at Pod Rest Society. Go communicate and interact with me on there. And it's a society. It's not just me. It's me and my various co-hosts that I've had throughout the entirety of the podcast, which is over a year old at this point, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but for an indie podcast, which, indie podcasts, unless you really have that unique hook and big time guests and whatnot, it's really hard to keep an indie podcast afloat. And I have managed to, along with Drama City Productions. They're still doing their thing, and of course my current network that I'm on, Big Heads Media Network. We've also got Retro Wrestling Review on there. It has been doing gangbuster numbers. It's got its own hook. Everything not WWE that's retro, we review it, and we actually watch along, and we give analysis to the match as well as the wrestlers in the match and everything. But that's beside the point. What I was getting at was last week I talked about if I were booking Becky Lynch going into 2020, I would have her lose the women's title at the Royal Rumble, and then I would have her fight. And my thing was, I said, I don't think it should be Asuka, because Asuka's, I said I felt that they kind of cheapened her at this point by having, I don't think the tag team thing is cheapening her. And I love the Kabuki Warriors. What I think cheapens her is when she went undefeated for, like over 2 years, I think. And she went toe-to-toe with Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 34. And now her and together are struggling to beat Charlotte Flair 2-on-1. I think that cheapens her. But that's neither here nor there. I was saying I would have, either Asuka or anybody, somebody that they want to, build up to beat her at the Royal Rumble, and then face Becky in a rematch at WrestleMania and have Becky walk out the triumphant, brand new champion yet again. She got her belt back, and it's all good. But so that might happen. I think that's good booking. That's what Stone Cold would have done, by God. So I think it's a good plan at this point. But that's all I have for WWE. As far as AEW goes, and I'm going to talk about my watching habits here in a bit, because I just haven't been keeping up with anything. And I'll kind of talk about that going into the year 2020. Arn Anderson will be the new manager for Cody in AEW. And some people are saying, well, a Rhodes can never trust an Anderson, which historically is accurate. But so that could be cool. I don't know if Cody's going to start up a feud with Shawn Spears again and have the Tully and Arn feud going on. We'll kind of have to wait and see. So, but either way, I think this is good. I think Arn Anderson could be a great coach / manager for Cody, and I think it will add to his presentation. Besides that, other AEW news: Cody and Dustin Rhodes will take on the Lucha Bros next week on January 8th on AEW Dynamite. That'll be a good match. I love both of those teams. I think Lucha Bros were in contention for Tag Team of the Year in 2019, but if I had to give a Tag Team of the Year award, I would give it to the War Raiders. I mean, it's kind of hard to argue, but I think the Lucha Bros were right up there, right next to them. AEW is coming to New Jersey for the first time ever on their March 25th edition of Dynamite. It'll take place in the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. So I assume they still have tickets, so go check that out. I'm hoping that'll be a killer show for them. AEW Dynamite is also coming to Atlanta and Kansas City for the first time. The February 19th episode of Dynamite will take place at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. The week after that, AEW will head to Kansas City, or the Kansas City area, I should say, as the Wednesday, February 22nd 6th episode will be held in the Silverstein Eye Center's Arena in Independence, Missouri. Go get your tickets for that. Hopefully those are old NWA stomping grounds, so hopefully they do well there. They seem to be sticking to old NWA territories, so yeah, go check that out. AEW sold out their next pay-per-view, Revolution, in less than an hour when the tickets went on sale a couple Fridays ago. So hey, man, for all them people saying, well, war's over, AEW's dead, and whatever, I mean, they just sold out another pay-per-view. So, yeah. The last thing is kind of an AEW thing because AEW is starting to use her. Chris Statlander. I've never seen her work. I haven't watched an episode of Dynamite in a while. I haven't watched an episode of anything wrestling in a while that's current because I've seen highlights, if that's what you want to call them, and I just haven't been motivated to watch anything since November. I watched WWE TLC, and that was the first show. I didn't watch it live. I watched it after the fact, and I heard all this crap about it, and I was like, well, I'm still going to watch it because I like watching the pay-per-views. I watched it, and I regretted ever turning that piece of garbage on. I'm not saying the show from start to finish was complete garbage, but I'd say 90 to 95% of that show is complete garbage, and I absolutely hated it. I haven't been watching AEW. I've seen highlights, and it's stuff like Chris Statlander is an effing alien. That is really that and the Dark Order thing. And I wanted to like the Dark Order. They're entertaining in the ring. They're different. I think their gimmick is fine. The whole cult, like New Age cult thing is cool. But how many cultish gimmicks can they have running around in AEW at the same time? Like, I mean, I don't know if that's what the Blade, the Butcher, and the Bunny are supposed to be, but it seems like some kind of like cultish kind of gimmick. And then you've got the thing with Brandy Rhodes and Awesome Kong. I can't remember what the hell they call themselves, but that seems like a female cultish whatever, like the Straight Edge Society, but for women. And I don't know, man. The whole Dark Order thing is just like, wow, it hasn't played well so far. I don't think the mainstream gives a crap about it. And they're like, why is this fat dude in a mask hanging out with this indescript pale man? And they have a cult. Why do they have a cult? How do they have a cult? I don't know. It's stuff I would see in WWE, and I don't like it. Just the unexplained, well, it's happening, damn it. That's why. And I don't like it. And the Chris Statlander, I don't know if she's a good worker. From everything I've heard, she is. But you seriously want me to believe, oh, she's an alien? Gosh, I don't know, man. From everything I've heard from everybody, NXT is the only consistently good program on television at this point. And from things I've seen of it, it looks good. I just haven't been, I haven't been motivated to sit and watch an entire modern program as of late. So I haven't put in time or energy or thought or anything like that. So I haven't watched an episode. I did see Rhea Ripley win the NXT Women's Championship. Congratulations to her. I've been saying since before Survivor Series, they've got themselves a freaking star, and they need to push the hell out of her, push her to the damn moon. And it seems like they are well on their way to doing that. They had her beat the unbeatable Shayna Baszler. So that's a dang good start, man. And I think she can be to NXT what Becky Lynch is to the WWE Raw roster right now. I think she can be their hood ornament, man. And who would have thunk in 2019 going into 2020 after the history of wrestling as it was, that the hood ornament and the top stars for the Raw brand and the NXT brand I mean, not to dog on Adam Cole in NXT, because, you know, I think he was probably, if not the best, or then one of the best male wrestlers of 2019, and I'm a huge fan of his. But I think, you know, going into 2020, you need to watch Rhea Ripley. She's the real deal, man. But yeah, so I haven't watched in a while, and the fact that they've got a freaking woman claiming to be an alien running around doing stuff just kind of reinforces why I don't want to watch a show. Moving past AEW, after returning to Lucha Libre AAA using his WWE name and mask, Sin Cara, real name Jorge Arias, has announced that he has changed his name to Cinta de Oro, which translates to gold ribbon. I don't get it, but cool. I have been saying all along, hey, he needs to go to AAA. I think he'll do well there. He went to AAA, and as long as he can stay healthy, stay clean, and have a good attitude, I think he's going to do great stuff there. He was a good worker. He is a good worker. And if they can push him correctly, that would be great. He's keeping the mask on, which is cool. I mean, we know what he looks like, but they did the same thing with Rey Mysterio. So I think if they use him correctly, he could go far. And I'd like to see him make a name for himself. It'd be cool. AAA, if it's not his destination, then it is a good first stop in his his rounds. And I'm anxious to see his future. I hope he changes the look though, because like I said, he's still using the Sin Cara outfit, the Sin Cara mask. Change it up, man. I mean, I assume WWE is never going to have a Sin Cara ever again. Maybe they told him keep the look. I don't know if that's the case, and whatever. But I would assume he would need to incorporate more gold into his look, though. But it could be wrong. And finally, after 5 years, New Japan Pro Wrestling and Access TV are no longer partners. New Japan Pro Wrestling will no longer air on Access TV and has no plans to broadcast anywhere in the United States throughout the year of 2020. A little heartbreaking. That really sucks. I hope that doesn't mean that they're getting rid of their English commentary teams. Because, I mean, for New Japan World, there's still an English-speaking audience that, you know, orders the shows, watches the show, whatever. So I'm one of them. So, I mean, we'll see this weekend how it goes with Wrestle Kingdom. And, yeah, so I hope they find a new U.S. partner, because I would really like to see New Japan Pro Wrestling. They're unique. They're different because they're the Japanese style of wrestling, and they've got Japanese rules, and there are many things that are very different in Japanese wrestling from the American wrestling, and it's something not yet popularized here in America other than recently through New Japan. And I think there's a lot of opportunity there for the future of New Japan. I think they could continue to grow if they get a good TV deal. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, that's part one. When I come back, I'm just going to quickly run down the cards for Wrestle Kingdom 14 coming up this weekend. If you are on the fence about watching it, we are going to be covering it next week. I'm hoping to have a special guest on. They were supposed to be on a couple of weeks ago and couldn't do it due to some bad circumstances before Christmas. But, yeah, we're hoping to have him on next week. I'm going to take a quick break right now just to plug our network, the Big Heads Media Network, and all the great podcasts on there. Go to bigheadsmedia.com and check them out. When we come back, I'm going to quickly run down Wrestle Kingdom 14.
Let's go! Welcome to the Podell and Piquel Show. I'm your host, Garrett Podell. Alongside me is my co-host, Jonathan Piquel. We're here to give you the real deal in sports, and we have the best guests in the world of sports.
We've had NFL Hall of Fame finalists, multiple Olympians,
pro athletes across the NFL, MLB, and NBA, as well as golf. Tune in to see who could be stopping by this week.
Welcome everybody to the POTUS New Podcast. I am...
Whoa, dude. This is our promo, not the show. I'm Rico.
Oops, my bad. I'm CJ. We're the hosts of the POTUS New Podcast.
We are fans of pretty much anything and everything pop culture, including movies, TV shows, books, video games, comics, music, and of course, Kevin Smith. Now, while we do keep our fingers on the pulse of Silent Bob, he certainly doesn't need our help in promoting him.
You got that right. We do our own thing, with inspiration from the man and his mantra of why not. We've got stories from celebrities we've interviewed, theories of our own for certain movies, and we usually have a great debate on almost anything.
We also do commentaries on movies. Sometimes we ask our fans what they want to watch with us. So, if you love the timbre of our vocal cords and you want to watch a movie at the same time, give us a listen.
Stay tuned every Monday. There's always something new. And if you've been good this year, we may even give you some bonus episodes from time to time.
So be good, subscribe, and enjoy POTUS New, proud members of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network.
Hey there, are you a college football fan? Well, I'm Andre Cherry, and on my show, the Cherry Pickin' Podcast, I dive deep into the world of college football during each week of the season. For the past 9 seasons, fans have come to my site, cherrypickinsports.com, to hear my college football analysis and game-winning predictions for each week of the season. The Cherry Pickin' Podcast is presented by the Big Heads Media Podcast Network and can also be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. Make sure you click the subscribe button today.
All right, now that we are back, we are going to quickly go over the card for Wrestle Kingdom 14 here. Just wanted to go through the matches. There's a lot of historic stuff going on at Wrestle Kingdom 14. If you're on the fence, at least give it a try. Check it out. It's going to be a few hours. It's the first historic thing is it's going to be a 2-day show, which is what they've been talking about for WrestleMania for at least 2 years by this point. But Wrestle Kingdom decided, hey, we'll do it. We've got a big enough roster. Sort of. They're going to have certain people wrestle on both days. And here's another thing. It's a dark match, but I think it's like they call it a dark match, but I think it's more of like I don't know if we're going to be able to see it for sure. If it's like a legit dark match that will not be broadcast anywhere, I'm not sure. But either way, this is the first historic, or another first historic thing. Stardom wrestlers, Joshi wrestlers will be wrestling at Wrestle Kingdom. Dark match or not, it's still historic. For those of you that don't know, Joshis are Japanese female wrestlers. And Stardom is an exclusive, kind of like Shimmer is to America, Stardom is to Japan, but much bigger. Whereas Stardom has a lot of great talent. They're not very popular. They don't sell out arenas and stuff like that. Stardom is very popular. Now, it's a different story in a different discussion for a different time about women's wrestling in Japan. But the dark match is a tag team Stardom special match. It's and I'm going to mispronounce a lot of these names on these cards, so bear with me. I apologize. Mayo Iwatani and Arisa Hoshiki are taking on the team of Yulia and Hana Kimura. So, yeah, that's tag team, the tag team Stardom match there. I don't know. I might know Iwatani. I'll take that one back, but the rest of them I'm not sure. The pre-show matches for day 1, Great Bash Heel, which is the name of a team of Honma and Makabe. They are teaming up with Yuya Yamura and Yoda Tsuji to take on Toa Hinaire, Alex Coughlin, Clark Connors, and Carl Fredericks in an 8-man tag. A lot of these are going to be random 8-man tags where they're just trying to cram a lot of people into the show. It's the second half of the card you really need to look at, but the first half can still be interesting and have some little gems in them, and you can kind of see a lot of the times they put the experienced guys with the the young guys, or we'll get to a match coming up here. The team of Tenkozi, which is Hiroshi Tenzan and Satoshi Kojima, are taking on Yuji Nagata and Manabu Nakanishi. So I know all four of those guys. It should be a hoss match. They just beat the tar out of each other. This is the one tons and tons of legends keep an eye out for. It's an 8-man tag team match. The big hook of the weekend, the 2 days, is these are Jushin Thunder Liger's final matches ever anywhere in the world before his official retirement. This match is Jushin Thunder Liger, WWE Hall of Famer Tatsumi Fujinami, the Great Sasuke, and Tiger Mask. I'm not sure which one. I assume the first one, but it could be the second. With El Samurai versus Naoki Sano, Shinjiro Otani, Tatsuhito Takawa, and Ryosuke Taguchi, with Kaneyaki Kobayashi in their corner. Norio Honaga will be the special guest referee. So lots of Japanese wrestling legends in this match. I'm excited to see Fujinami, Sasuke, and Tiger Mask, and I'm excited to see Liger again. Even if they're old and slow and can't do it the way they can, it's still, it's a nostalgia pop, and it's one night, so that should be interesting. We got another 8-man tag after that. Los Ingobernables de Hopan, which is Evil, Sonata, Shingo Takagi, and Bushi, taking on Suzuki-gun, which is Minoru Suzuki, Taichi, Zack Sabre Jr., and El Desperado. They always beat the crap out of each other. It's a good time, good fun. Next up, another 8-man. It's Chaos, which is being represented by Hiroki Goto, Tomohiro Ishii, Toru Yano, and Yoshihashi. They're taking on the Bullet Club, Bad Luck Fale, Chase Owens, Kenta, and Yujiro Takahashi. That should be good. I'm looking forward to seeing Kenta. I haven't seen much of him since he joined the Bullet Club, and I haven't been keeping up with New Japan so much lately, so that should be fun. Up next for the IWGP Tag Team titles, it's the Gorillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga, taking on Finn Juice, Juice Robinson, and David Finlay. So the GOD are defending against Robinson and Finlay. For those of you unaware, David Finlay is the son of Fit Finlay. So he doesn't wrestle anything like his dad, but he is good. This one, here's where that's where the card really starts to heat up. The other matches are good, but they're tag matches. So this next one is a Texas death match for the IWGP United States Championship. The match can only be won by a 10-count knockout or by submission. Lance Archer is defending the championship against Jon Moxley. Good stuff. The IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship will be defended after that. Will Ospreay versus Hiromu Takahashi. I haven't seen much of Takahashi since he came back from a neck injury a while ago, so this will be fun for me. I'm not the biggest Will Ospreay fan. Fight me, Dave Meltzer. But, we'll see how it goes. Jay White defends the IWGP Intercontinental title against Tetsuya Naito, multi-time Intercontinental champion in New Japan. So this will be one of the best matches of the weekend, I can almost guarantee. Then the main event, it's number one contender Kota Ibushi, who won the G1 Climax over the summer. He earned his title shot. He is now taking on IWGP Heavyweight Champion Kazuchika Okada for the title and all the marbles. So that is a big one. We'll have to see. I know that's going to be a classic. We'll have to see how that one goes. Night 2 starts off with a frickin' gauntlet match. It's a 6-man tag team gauntlet match for the never openweight 6-man tag titles. The current champions that are defending are the Most Violent Players, which are Tomohiro Toji Makabe and Toru Yano. They're teaming with Ryosuke Taguchi to take on Chaos, which is being represented by Tomohiro Ishii, Yoshihashi, and Robbie Eagles. The Bullet Club, Bad Luck Fale, Chase Owens, and Yujiro Takahashi. And let's see, Los Ingobernables de Japan, which is Evil, Shingo Takagi, and Bushi. And the final team is Suzuki-gun, which is Taichi, El Desperado, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. So they do this, for those of you unaware, they usually do something like this every single Wrestle Kingdom that they've had the never open weight 6-man tag titles. So this is nothing new. It usually opens the show or is close to the open. So there's that. Up next, this is Jushin Thunder Liger's retirement match, and it is a tag match. It is Jushin Thunder Liger and Naoki Sano with Yoshiaki Fujiwara in their corner. They're taking on Ryu Lee and Hiromu Takahashi. So this will be the final match of Jushin Thunder Liger's career, in theory. After that, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag titles are on the line. It's the Bullet Club, Taiji Ishimori, and El Fantasmo defending against Roppongi 3K, who is Sho and Yo. The British Heavyweight titles being defended after that, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Sonata. ZSJ is the champion. So it's going to be Suzuki-gun versus Los Ingobernables de Japan. That should be interesting. Up next, the IWGP United States Championship is going to be defended by either Archer or Moxley from the night before. They are going to defend against Juice Robinson, who is going to be, who I guess is the number one contender as of this night. Kenta will be defending the Never Open Weight Championship up next against Hiroki Goto. So I love Goto. I love Kenta. I think that will be one of the matches of the weekend as well. And never isn't the word never. I mean, it is, but for those of you wondering, it's never open weight? Well, no, never stands for something. It's an acronym. So just you'd have to look it up. It's a weird word, but they had it spell out the word never. So open weight means anybody can challenge for it, because weight limits are pretty strict over in Japan. They used to be back in the old NWA as well. WWE and TNA and a bunch of other, like WCW used to be fluid with it, and it's not so strict in American wrestling nowadays, but in Japan it's still fairly strict. You stay in your lane and you stay in your weight division. So open weight means anybody can challenge for it. Heavyweight, middleweight, lightweight, whatever. Up next, we've got either Okada or Ibushi's, the loser of Okada versus Ibushi, taking on the loser of White versus Naito from the night before. I assume whoever wins that would be in line for a heavyweight title shot. I could be wrong. I don't know. This is another one. I don't know how good the match will be, but it will be interesting. That's for sure. Not a hardcore match for once. It's Hiroshi Tanahashi, the ace of Japan, taking on Chris Jericho. And Tanahashi says that if he wins, he will challenge for Jericho's AEW title. So I'm looking to see Tanahashi win, challenge Jericho, get the match either at Revolution or whatever comes next, maybe Double or Nothing 2, I don't know, and beat him, or Jericho beat him. But we'll have to see. I can't see Tanahashi winning the AEW title, but I could be wrong. And then the main event of the weekend, it's the Double Gold Dash match for both the IWGP Heavyweight title and IWGP Intercontinental title. It's the winner of Okada and Ibushi versus the winner of Naito and White. So it's champion versus champion. Winner walks out with all the gold. So, long weekend of matches. good stuff. If you've never watched New Japan before, I encourage you to order the show. You won't regret it. I am very much looking forward to it. This will be the most wrestling I've watched in a long time. Good stuff. So anyway, that's a lot of big stuff happens at Wrestle Kingdom every year in the Tokyo Dome. They do it huge with a Y. And this is their version of WrestleMania. So check it out. Some big name stars. If you don't know people, get to know them. Even if you have to do research beforehand, get to know them, man. They're big stars in Japan. Some of them are internationally big stars. But that is the show. Next week, I will be back with a full show where I will hopefully have a co-star or a co-host, and we will go over all the results from Wrestle Kingdom 14 rather. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you all next week. Later.